Much more coming up here on NBS Live at 9. But first, the headlines. To NBS Live at 9 now, as Uganda Airlines searches for a substantive chief executive officer delivery lead times, tightening industry margins, and the added scrutiny of political oversight inherent to a state-owned airline.
Uganda Airlines currently has 7 aircraft on its books, serving 16 destinations across Africa, the Middle East and Europe. On paper, that ratio already represents a strain as fewer than 1 aircraft for every 2 destinations. But the operational reality is even tighter. At any given time, some aircrafts are grounded for routine maintenance, technical checks and awaiting spare parts, challenges that have worsened globally since the COVID-19 pandemic. This means that the airline may effectively be operating the equivalent of 4 to 5 aircraft to cover 16 destinations. This imbalance creates scheduling pressure, long turnaround times, and limited backup capacity, according to Dr. Arnold Agaba, an aviation and outer space expert.
Turnaround time, you need to be able to have aircraft that is ready to take passengers. And what we've seen in the last few months is that you've had a lot of problems regarding timing, regarding passenger management. People have been stuck at airports. That consumer experience is terrible because it means that the consumer does not have confidence in the airline.
The task ahead for the new CEO will therefore be to begin with stabilization before anything.
In the more medium term, the management, really, not just the CEO, but the management of the airline will have to consider crisis management and obviously crisis prevention. During the period of crisis management, it has to restore confidence in the people that it is serving, in the community that it is serving, in the international community that it is dealing with. It has to restore confidence. The airline is not just dealing with passengers, it's dealing with service providers. You know, service providers' contractual relationships depend on predictability.
The management also has to make tough decisions to bridge the fleet gap.
And so what the airline industry is doing is leasing a lot of aircraft. So in my perspective, Uganda Airlines really needs to look into the possibility of bringing in aircraft that it can use to fly on different destinations.
Experts say that route rationalization too is very key.
But they will also be sitting and critically thinking about why the airline is flying to certain destinations. So don't be shocked if certain routes are dropped and others are taken up, because it's a question of numbers.
While cargo proved resilient for airlines such as Ethiopian Airlines during the pandemic, experts say Uganda Airlines must first fill the passenger seats and optimize the belly cargo space of the existing aircraft before buying dedicated cargo freighters.
So in terms of planning, they should go ahead and plan for that. But the short-term and medium-term planning for the airline should be, how do we link with the stakeholders in this industry to make sure that the bellies that we have right now are full.
But the most significant challenge for any national airline is political interference.
Politics will not be divorced from the running of this airline. I can tell this to you today. It will be true tomorrow. The question is, how do you maneuver that politics and manufacture the correct politics to influence good results for the airline?
The CEO who takes office in July will not only be managing planes, they will be managing confidence, capacity constraints, political expectations, and a delicate balance between national ambition and commercial discipline.
Well, in a bit, we'll be speaking to aviation expert Captain Francis Babu to throw some perspective on the appointments being made. Now, speaking of appointments, the directive by the president to appoint a retired aviation expert, Gamawaki, has faced criticism, with many questioning why are appointments being made without due diligence.
This letter, dated 13th February, from the President of Uganda, directed the Minister of Works and Transport to appoint the 82-year-old Gimewek, a retired airline industry executive, as a consultant to the airline. The same letter states that he is also to serve as an acting CEO until July. The appointment has raised questions, just like the appointment of the now-fired Jennifer Bamturaki, questioning whether the appointment underwent any due diligence. MP for Kira Municipality, Ibrahim Samajunganda, questions what the reporting line for the CEO would be for one who has not undergone any process for recruitment.
So the president needs to allow processes. If you're going to run a delicate company like airlines, you need to find the most competent people, and the competent people are not usually handpicked. Emirates, the manager who has been running Emirates for a very long time is from UK.
MP Roland Diomjenyi is a member of COSASE, a committee that investigates state agencies and state enterprises which scrutinize the Uganda Airlines in an audit. He states that while the choice of the CEO could not be the best, the decision is not enough to turn Uganda Airlines into a progressive entity, stating it needs an entire overhaul.
With the current trends, with the technology, an 82-year-old professional may not be the best option. To me, I think we need dynamic young people who can do the job well. There is a need for a complete overhaul of most of the people. I remember when we were doing when we were interacting with them in 2023, we found that there were positions which were given, huge positions, people who had never even gone to university.
Begin with the model of business and country's systematic approach. Njomjenyi and Samiju, who acknowledge the powers of the president to make appointments, say competitive businesses like that requires a strategic criteria to recruit. This question, the appointments without tested efficiency and effectiveness, which they say have rendered entities incompetent.
Even Bamuturaki herself was handpicked, not because she was the most knowledgeable person. What were the targets? So someone should tell me, because if you're going to give you an airline, they must give you targets that are achievable. First, traffic. How many passengers are you going to attract? Two, the amount of money. Because Uganda Airlines, like all airlines in Africa, is a loss-making company, with the exception of one, Ethiopia. So there is a need for complete audit of the airline, and ensure that people who are competent, people who are experienced, are the ones who are given jobs.
Now, Yoweri Museveni has appointed the acting CEO and also consultant for the Uganda Airlines. But who is the new acting CEO? Let's take a look at his profile. That's a profile of Gamawaki. He was born in 1943 and he's an Ethiopian national. He was born on the 23rd of June 1943 in Ethiopia. And he is indeed an aviation leader and now the acting airline executive. Still on Gamawaki, he rose through the ranks, playing a key role in the airline's global transformation, that is on Ethiopian Airlines. And also, we do understand that he did rise through the ranks, playing a key role in the airline's global transformation, but also he's been CEO of Ethiopian Airlines from 2004 to 2011. But more to that, he's been, of course, in different key roles internationally when you look at his profile. Let's take a look at some of the key roles he's been in. He returned to Ethiopian Airlines as a board member in 2018 and then became a board chairman of Ethiopian Airlines from 2022 to June 2023. He's been the head of cargo operations at Gulf Air, and that was until 1993. He also became the CEO and advisor to multiple African airlines, including Air Djibouti, Air Tanzania, and Air Rwanda. On his legacy and impact, he transformed Ethiopian Airlines into a global aviation powerhouse, one of the most respectable airlines that is on the African continent. He also helped create 1,500 jobs, including 250 international positions. That's the man, Gwema Wake, who is now the acting CEO of Uganda Airlines. And now let's take a look at, of course, the exiting or outgoing CEO of Uganda Airlines. She did join the airline in July 2022. Bamtwachis was appointed as substantive CEO by presidential directive overriding ongoing recruitment then that was being handled by PwC. In August 2022, I did outline the vision on the self-ground handling, A330-800 route expansion and cost reduction. In 2023, the airline did post record losses of 325 billion shillings, but revenue and passenger numbers were growing despite this loss. In May 2025, that's just last year, there was a launch of the Entebbe-London Gatwick direct flight, and that was the first route in Europe. In July to September
your thoughts interviewed several candidates who applied for the same job. Mulea was also charged in court for allegedly later sued. Interviewed several candidates who applied for the same job. Mulea was also charged in court for allegedly later sued the airline in court for allegedly later sued the airline seeking of last year. As Ugandans and international travelers have complained about frequent flight schedule changes and poor communication, which has left passengers stranded at the airport and damaged the airline's reputation. Last year, the airports waiting for flights that never dipped to Bamtureche stepping aside. Waiting for flights that never dipped to Bamtureche stepping aside. Aviation analysts argue that the airline's challenges go beyond removing one chief executive officer. They point to systematic management weaknesses and political interferences as key factors weakening the institution.
We can get the Ugandan to be his deputy for the next 5-6 years. This Ugandan understudies him. We need to get a new board. I am so convinced that you need a board that is firmer and more experienced. People who are experienced in finance, people who are experienced in aviation, people who are experienced in the different aspects of the mechanics of the aviation. People are experienced in the aviation industry.
Analysts warn that unless these structural problems are addressed, changing leadership alone will not be enough to restore the airline, and the national carrier risks returning to same cycle of crisis.
The mistakes that have happened and the losses that they have suffered are repairable. We still have time, and I'm lucky that we are lucky that Gilma has accepted to come.
Well, issues at Uganda Airlines. And now let's throw some perspective onto that story, especially on the appointment of the aviation expert, and that is Goma Wake. And joining us tonight is aviation expert Captain Francis Babu to throw some perspective onto that particular story. Captain, many thanks for joining us this evening. I'm sure you've seen the news of the appointment of the Ethiopian consultant on aviation, Goma Wake. What do you make of this appointment to have the airline being managed in the meantime as the CEO that is going to be substantive is being, of course, waiting to be appointed by July?
They should have done it right from the startup of this airline. When there was a startup right from the beginning, he should have come at that time. Oh, it's late. It's better late than never. They have brought him now. He is an expert and he can do his job. But I'm tired of Ugandans who come on television and bring their obsession about credentialism and age. The person who's been running Uganda Airline is young. What happened? So those arguments can be done away with. The gentleman they've brought is very good. He can do a good job. He has worked in several places, and I know where, and he's done a good job. What you need to do, and this is where we must get this, first of all, the present board must go. Another point, the people who have been working with the former CEO must also go. Let Mr. Waki sit down and they look for people he can work with. And these are people he can get on the international circuit, especially in marketing and in finance and operations. Those are three areas which he must put together. He knows it himself. So as far as I'm concerned, that's where the problem is. The problem is it started at startup. When they started the airline, they should have had people like him. But from what I have picked up over a period of time, he wouldn't have managed. If you put this expert now with the people who are in the Uganda airline now, they'll make him fail. Like they made the Zambian fail, because they went and lied about him, and he eventually took us to court and won. But for goodness sake, Somebody was talking about due diligence. You cannot beat His Excellency the President on due diligence. He has got a finance, and the other one is operations. Operations will take engineering and piloting. The pilots are very good. The engineers are very good. What we need are experts who can give us technical information on how to run the airline. Now, to go and get fuel from a contractor is wrong. Shell, all over the world, has got fuel carnets. These are credit cards. Each airline has those. Anywhere you land, the fuel carnet can be used. So as far as I'm concerned, these are small problems we can solve. The corruption which we are talking about is easy to solve, and instead of vilifying those who have been there, let us get off the ground and get the airline working.
Let me ask about. So in 2022, there was a presidential appointment of Jennifer Bamturaki by the president. We've also seen now a presidential appointment of the acting CEO. Do you think that there is need to protect the airline from political interference and not intervention necessarily?
President is the head of the government, and by then in the constitution, all the powers belong to the president, and he gives this power to the different peoples in the system, including the Minister of Transport and the other ministers, the Minister of Finance, who I'm told are the shareholders of Uganda Airlines. Therefore, the power lies with the president. And the president, in his own wisdom, after consulting different people, that is the best way to do it, because he has realized a lot of our people, even those who carry out due diligence, are malicious. And let me tell you, some of the people who belong to these contract groups in this country, who belong to government, they bring different people to come and present contracts, and they bring briefcase people and so on and so forth. So I think the president, after examining himself, he has realized the best way to do this is the way he has done. Now, the one they did in 2021 was a mistake. That was a real startup. That is when they needed this Mr. Girma. He should have come then, not now. But if he's coming now, better late than never. Let him come, but let them give him a clean slate. And we need a forensic audit on this airline. Not just talk about it. Let's have a forensic audit. Let's give this man a clean slate so he can get good people to start this airline. And eventually, as the president has stated, this group he gets will be able to get us better experts who can be employed and be trained to take different posts in government, in the airline. And we can then get what they call corporate governance and the culture. Remember, the culture in Ethiopia is different. The culture in the Gulf is different. The culture in Rwanda is different. Here we have a different culture. Therefore, our corporate culture has to be different also. You must study and the people here and understudy what sort of people you have. And credentialism is good, yes, but then people must be trained to do the jobs they're supposed to do.
My last question to you, Captain Francis, just quickly. We've seen social media and the comments from, of course, the Ugandans who use this airline, commenting about issues, delays, lack of communication and all that. Do you think there is need to protect the airline from public scrutiny, or does public scrutiny indeed improve accountability for this airline?
No, people are free to carry out accountability, and they should point out what is going wrong. I'm saying they shouldn't. And that's why we need people who are responsible. For example, what you have just about delays and whatnot is to do with two things. It's the marketing of that route. Number two, they are the ones in charge of passengers. Then there's finance. They pay the fuel on time, they pay the airports on time, overflying charges, all these things are serious and which can destroy an airline. We are now starting from square one. In fact, let me say, the startup which was started in 2021 is starting now. Let us clean the slate and start anew. These aeroplanes they have, which is the Airbus Neo, and the little aeroplane, should be taken back and exchanged for aeroplanes. When they called me at the Ministry of Works, I told them the best aeroplane for this airline would be a Dreamliner. The latest Dreamliner now online is a 787-10. They now also have a Boeing 737 MAX. And if you don't want that, you can get the Airbus 200, which Air Tanzania has, and it's a good aeroplane. Now, these are for you to decide. And this is where this expert comes in with his team. That's why I'm saying he should have a good team, and the team should sit down and decide on those. We are willing to give them that information. But you see, you can't cry over spilled milk. If things have gone wrong, you must carry out what you people call in finance damage control.
For speaking tonight and throwing perspective onto the airline story. Now, away from the airline, I want us now to go to the other stories making headlines tonight. And my colleague Victoria Sbia is already on standby. Take us through the next couple of stories. Sbia, over to you.
Thank you so much, Kanari. That was quite an interesting deep dive into the Uganda Airlines new CEO. Well, we're looking forward to seeing what can transpire. Moving on to some of our stories this evening. The Butambala Chief Magistrate, Deogracius Sejemba, has dismissed an application by Member of Parliament Mwanga Chivumbi alleging alleged violations of his rights and during his arrest. Now, Chivumbi had claimed that no statement was taken or investigation conducted in connection with the arrests of 10 individuals in the same incident. However, the magistrate noted that the applicants failed to present sufficient evidence and stated that even if the court had the mandate, it could not bar the Director of Public Prosecutions from conducting investigations.
Security personnel from the prison department, assisted by officers from other law enforcement agencies, failed to allow supporters of MP Muhammad Mwanga Chivumbi to freely assemble at the court premises as tensions ran high. The Chief Magistrate, Deogracius Sejemba, addressed the application by Chivumbi's lawyers, noting that he agreed with submissions from the Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Rachel Bahole, who argued that the applicants had not provided sufficient evidence to support their claims in court. He added that this court, relying on Article 7 and the human rights laws, could only entertain such matters if they fell within its jurisdiction. Regarding the alleged raid on Chivumbi's home, the magistrate said that there was no certainty that any criminal case had been formally filed in court. He noted that if such a matter had occurred, the Director of Public Prosecutions would have been aware, and therefore the issues could not be addressed under the current proceedings.
It is only a competent court that can enforce the rights of the accused, as complained of by counsel.
Sejemba also emphasized that although the court can issue orders, it cannot interfere with the powers of the Director of Public Prosecutions by halting investigations and therefore dismissing the application.
Accordingly, and in the final analysis, I thought that the prayers of defense counsel from accused number 1, Mwanga Chivumbi, are not granted.
Deputy DPP Rachel Bakole requested that the court extends the matter to allow investigations to continue. However, defense lawyer Segona argued that since the prosecution had delayed investigating the actions of Chivumbi's supporters, the court could set a clear timeline for completing the inquiries, noting that some of the accused are students who need to return to school.
They enjoy the right of silence over the matters, at least for those matters they have chosen to investigate. We would love to hear what you intend to close, because it has a bearing on our next set of instructions.
The prosecution, however, insisted that the law allows them 6 months to carry out investigations and that anyone seeking temporary release may apply for bail before the High Court. Sejemba consequentially adjourned the case until the 10th of March.
Now, the Gulu Chief Magistrate, Augustine Alule Koma, has further remanded Lina Zedriga-Waru, Vice President of Northern Uganda of the National Unity Platform, on incitement of violence charges until February 24, 2026. Zedriga appeared in person after her lawyer, Jonathan Elotu, insisted having previously followed earlier proceedings virtually from Gulu main prison.
Appearing before the Chief Magistrate Augustine Alule Koma at the Gulu High Court, the defense team applied for bail, presenting several sureties described as reputable members of the community.
The documents served this morning.
This included her two siblings, a Catholic priest from Maracha district, and her sister, a Catholic nun who has served 25 years. Others were Sekondo Okotabok, the NUP chairperson for Moro district, and a teacher, and Keliko Makech, the former LC3 chairperson of Peche division in the then Gulu Municipal Council.
That in certain situations, court would even grant bail.
The defense submitted original national identification cards, photocopies and recommendation letters from local leaders to support bail application. The state prosecutor Patricia Diedo asked court for 2 weeks to verify and authenticate documents presented by the sureties. The prosecution also informed court that investigations into the case were still ongoing and requested for another mentioned date.
It is proper to let her know her faith without much delay.
In response, Eloto argued that the verification should be completed within 2 hours, maintaining that the sureties were credible individuals capable of ensuring Zedriga's return to court at any time that the court needed her.
All the sureties are substantial. I also pray that court finds that the accused is not of flight risk.
That father, the LC1 contacts are on those documents. So it is our submission that 30 minutes is ample time enough for the state to make a call. I give the state up to Tuesday next week, that is on 24th of February, to reply to the bail application, and this court will make a ruling soon thereafter. Having ruled in the manner I did above, accused person is further remanded till 24th of February.
The director of Sharia at Chibuli Mosque, Dr. Hafiz Warusimbi, has confirmed that the moon has been sighted in Saudi Arabia, marking the start of Ramadan tomorrow on Wednesday. The Muslim community has been urged to observe Islamic teachings to fully benefit from the holy month while remaining true to the guidance of the Quran.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. From the Directorate of Sharia and Legal Affairs, Office of the Supreme Mufti Chibuli, we wish to inform the entire Muslim fraternity in this country and beyond that the moon or the crescent for the month of Ramadan for the year 1447 AH has been sighted. This is the information that has reached us from the trusted sources, and therefore I am happy to announce that inshallah ta'ala, with effect from tomorrow, 18th of February 2026, we shall be starting the observance of fasting the holy month of Ramadan. I wish to urge the imams of various mosques in this country that with effect from tonight, we are starting the performance of Salatul Tarawih. I wish also to urge the imams to continue or to start having the programs that are supposed to be conducted in the mosque during the holy month of Ramadan. This includes the iftar programs. This includes extending various kinds of assistance to the needy, to the sick, to the old, among others.
Looking there at some more of our stories that are to come after the break. Prime Minister Robin Anabanja has urged local and international investors to tap into Uganda's growing economy. This is citing political stability. More of that after this particular break. Meanwhile, some of our guests are already there for Barometer tonight. Definitely looking forward to that, being hosted, of course, by Samson Kasumba. Looking at the guests looking pensive and quite serious over there. Let's go ahead and go for our break.
New Tusker Premium Cider. Crisp, delicious apples crushed and blended to create a unique taste explosion.
I want to be an engineer. I want to be a chef. I want to be a mechanic. I want to be a musician. I want to be a basketballer.
Twinbrook International School is a school where you will see people from around the world. It's diverse. You will have the opportunity to experience things you've never experienced before. We have highly skilled teachers and a comfortable environment that does not pressure but eases the minds of students to help them into their future careers. Our school integrates art, culture, history, language, and performing arts such as drama, music, and dance into the academic curriculum. Work smart, succeed. Twinbrook International School.
Are you planning an event or wedding? Join us at Nikan Resort Hotel, Uganda. Relaxing accommodation rooms, well-equipped conference halls, and boardrooms. Don't miss this fantastic opportunity to experience the best of hospitality and sufficient space. We're located in Seguku Katale, along Entebbe Kampala Road, channeling easy access to Kampala City and the airport. For reservations and inquiries, contact using the information on your screen or visit our website www.nikanresort.com.
Take a look around and you'll see everything can be reimagined. Everything rough can be smooth. Everything old can be fresh. Everything can be made vibrant and full of attitude. The world is what you make it, so why not make it yours? Guinness Smooth. Make it yours.
There is a new era of elegance and it begins at your event. At Peno Events, we have upgraded with fresh, modern, stylish event pieces designed to transform any space into a masterpiece. From luxury tents to elegant furniture to premium mobile washrooms, hand wash stations, lounge sets, parasols, wooden chairs, modern chair set, banquet setup. Peno Events. Safe, reliable, stylish. Book now.
Maria, I'm going to make the mandazi you like today. This is my wife Maria's recipe.
Maria! Maria, we've got the loan! We've got the loan!
But tell me, what's the secret to your success?
Maria is my inspiration. Everything that I do is to make Maria proud.
Kuba mwaka fana nyinga kwali
eyo gwa wangudde mwaka mulamba
mpulira essanyu lingi okubanga nawangudde school fees w'omwanange era nina essanyu okubanga sigenda sasula school fees n'omwaka omulamba era ne bazanya ba MTN Momo Katonda abongere omukisa.
As long as you pay school fees using Momo, you will stand a chance to win school fees for a whole year. The school, you will stand a chance to win a school van. You can also get a school fees loan on Momo. The short code is *165*80# and you pay school fees and you win school fees for a year.
We're not made to be alone. It's baked deep into our DNA, driving us to connect. Because we know that when our tastes are as diverse as our world, the world becomes a magical place. And that when we experience life with each other, everything changes. As the world's #1 vodka, all we do is about that. From shaking up cocktails to a taste for everyone. We've been doing we since 1864. Smirnoff, we do we.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in here to NBS Live at 9. Let's continue with our stories. Prime Minister Robina Nabbanja has urged local and international investors to tap into Uganda's growing economy, citing political stability, security and high returns. Addressing the UK-UAE-India tripartite trade, investment and tourism delegation, she highlighted opportunities across energy, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, ICT, agriculture, transport, logistics, education, finance, tourism, and oil and gas.
Speaking at the UK-UAE-India tripartite trade, investment and tourism delegation, Prime Minister Robina Nabbanja highlighted Uganda's favorable climate and abundant natural resources as inherent advantages for investors seeking strong returns. She also cited political stability and one of Africa's most stable currencies as compelling reasons to invest.
Uganda is centrally located in the heart of Africa. And so it is easy for an investor to market their products. We have the East African community, we have COMESA, and we also have the Africa Free Trade Area.
Investors were urged to register with the Uganda Investment Authority to access tax and non-tax incentives with initial investment recovery within 5 to 7 years. Colonel Edith Nakalema, head of State House Investors Protection Unit, reaffirmed the government's commitment to safeguarding investments, noting Uganda's repeated recognition at the annual investment meeting in Abu Dhabi as a top investment destination.
So the State House Investors Protection Unit is established by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda and is led by a soldier, me here, and our work is to ensure that everyone that adds value is given every attention, is protected from wrong elements. So the protection of investors here in Uganda is given priority.
British High Commissioner Lisa Chisney praised Uganda's openness to foreign investment and highlighted a UK-backed initiative including a €150 million Nexus Green Solar Irrigation Programme and the role of the British Chamber of Commerce and Westminster Africa Business Association in expanding trade.
And I think welcoming the delegations with Mr. Lawrence Robertson here as Chief Executive, welcoming these delegations means an important step in taking that growth and growing that number even further. Now, as you've heard from Her Excellency High Commissioner Namisha, the companies in this room represent a fantastic cross-section of different sectors: agri-processing, logistics, finance, ICT, manufacturing, energy and tourism, to name but a few. And that reflects, I think, the real breadth of interest in Uganda's commercial journey. And the UK stands firmly with Uganda on that journey. We are delivering long-term, high-quality investment in support of the ATMs, in support.
Now, moving on from that, the Kampala City Hall Court has charged and remanded more than 200 suspects arrested on charges of disturbing public order. The suspects, including 2 women, were arrested over the weekend during a joint security operation aimed at curbing crime. According to the police, arrests were made in areas of Wakiso, Chira and Chiwatule, among others, as well as several locations within Kampala, including Natete, Chiseka Market, as well as Nakasero. Prosecutors allege that some suspects were found smoking opium in public and attacking pedestrians with intent to steal, while others were arrested in possession of stolen property such as handbags and mobile phones. They appeared before Grade 1 Magistrate Edgar Karache, as well as the charge under the KCCA Maintenance of Law and Order Ordinance 2006. Lacking sureties, they were remanded to Luzira Prison until March 2nd, 2026.
I am going to entertain them after here. Because you're very many, I will have to handle them after I've handled everyone. Now, for those ones who do not have sureties, I am going to remand you until the 2nd of March. You're free to tell your people to come and stand for you on any day.
You will always know when you're in the presence of the finest. It's like time slows down, just enough for you to feel everything in full flavor.
Just Malt Lager. Alcohol is not for certain persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
It's back, bigger, and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
Start something new, something uplifting, something so effortless and golden. A thirst-quenching burst of sweetness and malty flavor, so rich and full of memories. It's 100% taste, zero alcohol. Try it, savor it, feel it elevate every moment. Sip after sip, gulp after gulp. After all, life's about turning ordinary thrills into golden chills.
Start something malty with the new Evervest Malt Apple and Pineapple. Try the burst of sweetness and malty flavor. It's 100% taste, zero alcohol. Available in a shop or supermarket near you. Evervest Malt. Make every moment golden. Evervest Malt is from the makers of PepsiCo.
Buy genuine Decra roofing tiles, the original stone-coated alu zinc steel roofing system from New Zealand. Choose from Heritage, Milano, Shingo, Shake and Classic profiles with a variety of colors and a 50-year warranty. Only available at Depot Uganda. Telephone 0776 898 888 or 0758 853 285. Depot Uganda. Tried, tested and trusted.
Moto Third Party is now digital. Dial the USSD code on MTN or Airtel to receive your reference number. Visit swico.co.ug/MTP. Enter your details and get your sticker instantly via SMS and email. No queues, no stress. With Swico, you are sure.
If whiskey could talk, Johnny Walker Black Label would sing. With notes that only come with 12 years in a barrel. Sweet, smooth toffee, rich fruit, and a touch of smoke. Tastes as good as it sounds.
Welcome back as you're watching NBS Live at 9. Now, re-elections in districts of Tororo, Butebo and Masaka saw mixed outcomes. Tororo recorded high turnout under heavy security. Masaka faced intense campaigns with voters transported in groups, while Butebo's LC5 vote was calm, well supervised and restored public confidence, highlighting the critical role of biometric verification in credible elections.
The re-election for the district councillor position in the Tororo district recorded a high voter turnout. The repolls were conducted at 9 polling stations in Nagongera sub-county after the earlier results were cancelled by the district returning officer, Caroline Chichoncho, due to the election-related violence that undermined the integrity of the process. Biometric voter verification kits were deployed across all polling stations to ensure a free and fair exercise, alongside heightened security, with at least one police pickup truck stationed at each location. Residents attributed the strong turnout to the district councillor's direct influence on local service delivery, which motivated active participation in the repolls.
It has been so good because the people around here don't know the other people, the other leaders. The only people they know here, I can count for you, LC1, LC3, and the district council. Those are the people always be with this around.
In Masaka, the re-election of the female district councillor in 2 parishes turned into an intense campaign exercise, with reports from several polling stations indicating that voters were transported in groups to cast their ballots. Voters in the 2 parishes of Chanamukaka sub-county returned to the polls following the nullification of the earlier election due to irregularities, including mismatched candidate photographs and names on the ballot papers.
There was a slow turn up at the beginning. We started a little late, but eventually we had people come in. So I would call it a fair turn-up.
Political leaders from the National Unity Platform, National Resistance Movement, and other camps said the widespread transportation of voters significantly increased the cost of the election.
No, you may find some voters are a bit distant from here. So somebody could have hired his voter to come and vote because doesn't want to walk under this sunshine. So yeah, we don't restrict on that.
In Butebo district, the LC5 residual election was calm and well supervised, renewing public confidence in the electoral process. Residents praised the effective use of biometric voter verification machines, which they said enhanced credibility of the vote. The Electoral Commission reported an unusually high voter turnout, noting that the exercise proceeded peacefully under the supervision of senior officials. The successful conduct of the polls has effectively ended prolonged uncertainty over the district's political leadership.
Voting has been very successful. The voter turnout has been huge. And the reason we can subject that reason for the success is because the BBK, Electoral Commission, is very prepared.
Business Pulse.
Now in business tonight, while downtown Kampala does appear with, of course, different bustling and commuters, pedestrians, we also take a look at what the currencies are looking like today. And you see a US dollar there at 3,528.59, selling at 3,538.59. The British pound is at 4,777, selling at 4,791. And I also look at other currencies that include the Kenyan shilling, that is at 27.33, selling at 27.45. Tanzanian shilling at 1.35, but selling at 1.37. That's how the currencies are looking like. Now, while downtown Kampala appears bustling with commuters and pedestrians feeling the streets, a seeming sign of booming business, traders tell a different story. They say many who temporarily closed their shops to avoid election-related chaos and uncertainty returned expecting business to rebound, only to be hit by plummeting sales that have fallen dramatically. Victor Taiwa has this report.
Downtown Kampala is famous for its congested arcades, often filled to capacity, and walkways packed shoulder to shoulder, a busy hub where vendors would expect the sheer volume of passerby to translate effortlessly into customers. However, traders we spoke to say that since January 15 elections, the crowd have been misleading. Several shop owners explain that heavy human traffic has largely been driven by parents taking children back to school for the New Year term that opened last week. They say that while the back-to-school rush has created a surge in demand, it has been limited to specific sectors, particularly dealing in scholastic materials. Traders dealing in other merchandise such as clothing, electronics, cosmetics, and household goods say they are barely making any sales. Economists say such patterns are common after politically tense periods, with elections often slowing economic activity as households adopt a more cautious approach to spending.
If someone didn't have enough time to prepare for the continuity and operations of the businesses, but now let me give us a scenario. The other way where you could not comply, now all government agencies are going to make sure that compliance is taken as a priority. Let it be URA. If you need to file the returns, please do it in time.
Once the dust settles, families tend to prioritize essential expenses like school fees and scholastic materials before returning to discretionary purchases.
As the businesses, we need to forecast. Forecasting is so important.
Welcome to World Navy Uganda, your trusted getaway to Japanese cars. We deliver direct from Japan, cutting out middlemen to give you the best prices. Choose from thousands of inspected vehicles, sedans, SUVs, vans, trucks, even hybrids and so much more, all with verified mileage and guaranteed quality. Enjoy transparent pricing, fast shipping and after-sales support right here in Kampala. Visit us at Forest Mall Lugogo or explore online. Call 256-704-105-159 today. World Navy Uganda, driving excellence from Japan to your driveway.